Hey everybody, welcome back to Watching in the Dark. I'm your host today, Garrett, and we're going to be going over the new Warhammer community article, going over the new phase in 10th edition, how Psychic works, and some new spells and stuff that we just seen for the first time. Starting off with the first change is no more Psychic phase. It is gone. Now it's just in the shooting phase and other phases for buffs that we'll be talking about here in a moment. No more rolling 2d6 to see if they happen is the good news. But with that, let's move on to the actual good stuff. First up, we have the Librarian in Terminator. This is the new one that everybody's been freaking out about. I love it so much. He is a leader, has Deep Strike, faction, Oath of Moment. I assume that's just the faction they put there for building in the list. I don't know if how that all actually works so far. But let's look at the thing we're here for. Smite, Witchfire, Psychic. 24-inch range, D6 stacks, ballistic skill 3+, strength 5, AP 1, damage D3. Overall, this seems pretty good. Now you don't have to roll to see if it happens or not. But there's a super version called Focused Witchfire. D6, basically everything's the same. It's just a bonus AP, and can do mortals with that devastating wounds, or no saves with devastating wounds. I don't remember if we got the exact definition of that yet. Overall, seems very powerful so far. It's much nicer not to have to roll to see if your spell will go off. See if you perils. It seems like if you do the focus version, you have a chance to hurt yourself, kind of like a plasma gun does now. They cover at the bottom called hazardous weapon ability, but they don't go into detail of what that actually is. We just know that it can hurt you. So I assume it might just be on a 1, you take a mortal or something to that effect. Then the other psychic ability it has is Veil of Time Psychic. While this model is leading a unit, weapons equipped in the models in that unit have sustained hits 1. So all this means is you get exploding 6s to hit. GW was also nice enough to show us another Psyker, the Weird Boy with Ed Banger. So basically this precision Psychic, ballistic skill 4+, strength 6, AP 3, 1 damage. It gets a bonus strength and a bonus damage, I believe, for every 5 boys. For every 5 boys in the unit rounding down. But while containing 10 or more, the weapon gains hazardous. So it gets a little bit better and better the more you have. Precision, I don't think we know how 100% works. I think it lets us snipe out characters that don't join units. I don't know if we can snipe out anybody we want in the unit or snipe out characters that are within a unit. But if so, this could be very devastating if you had 1 or 2 of these. You can cast them multiple times, because then you can just go sniping characters with Edbanger, which pretty good, but only hits on a 4, so there's some risk. And the other ability is the Jump. On a 1, it fails and basically does D6 mortals to the unit, which is pretty rough. On a 2+, remove the unit from the battlefield and place it in Deep Strike, basically. It's basically just Deep Strike. It's just from what we know. I think with this in mind, I think this means that Deep Strike is going to work the exact same way it worked before, 9-inch way horizontally, and probably still need a charge from Deep Strike. It is nice to know that this ability is at the end of the movement phase, so I assume every ability will be independent timing with Psychic, so they won't all be at the same time. They can differ depending on when you cast. Also in this article, we got BattleShock. The new BattleShock test is 2d6. You want to roll over your leadership or equal to. If you roll under, the objective control characteristic of the unit becomes 0, or models in the unit becomes 0. If it falls back, it must take a desperate breakout test. This probably just kills a model on 1s or does a mortal. Its controlling players cannot use stratagem on this. This is all huge. I bet we'll see a generic strat that will let us ignore BattleShock, or the downsides of it at least. Kind of like the once per game strat to ignore morale. But that's all for this video. This is an exciting thing. We got to see a lot of new stat lines, like the Orc stat line. We see that he has Faction Wall, Deadly Demise, and a few other things. We know that him and at least the Terminator Librarian are joining units to give off their buffs. So this will be exciting. Well, if you stuck around this long, make sure you like, subscribe, and keep following along for more information about 10th.